Hello friends! If you're watching this right now, you're probably joining me on the replay, but I would still love you to comment and interact if you want to comment replay. I'm Ashley. I am coming to you from Willow's Home Decor, and like I said, I think, was it last week? I'm gonna start doing some live paints, and showing you new products that I'm gonna be putting out. And we'll also talk about how you can shop with me right now if you want to buy DIY blanks. And yeah, so I'm gonna paint a patriotic craft today. I decided yesterday that I wanted to paint this. I haven't seen it and I thought it was so cute, so I am gonna paint it today. But it is a little American flag, kind of like a vintagey, and then it has, whoa, the scalloped edges. But yeah, I thought this would be really cute, and it's not in my shop yet, but it's gonna be once I get this painted and get the pictures taken of it. And so I will probably drop that tomorrow so you know how to find it. But I am trying to decide what color I want to, oh, this is kind of a weird setup. I'm trying to figure out my camera setup here so you can see me, but you can still see this, and I might need to move my stand back a little bit further. So let me just do that now before I go any further. Let's see, I have to move some of my stuff or just faceplant. I swear, there's never a live that something weird doesn't happen. Okay, hold on. Trying to get it back a little further so you can actually see the craft and also me without my phone falling over. I'm gonna put a weight on the stand. Okay. Okay, that's better. Okay, I had to go way back, so I had to move stuff. But now you can see me and you can see what I'm painting. One day I'll get this all figured out. So if you're popping on, say hello. And I'm just gonna get started. So I can't decide. I think I'm gonna paint the background red. I thought about maybe like doing a faux stain, but let's see if I can make sure I'm on here. So I can see any kind of comments. Let's see, it's not, there it goes. Now it's saying I'm live. Okay. There we go. Okay, so what I'm seeing here is a little behind, so if I don't respond to you, if you comment and I don't respond right away, that's probably why. Let me just... I don't know what the easiest way to do this is, so I can see the comments. Okay, sorry. 1 second. My iPad's not cooperating. Okay, well, hopefully I'll see them if they pop up here. It says comments will appear here, but they don't always. Okay, so I thought about doing like a faux stain, but I can't decide. I suppose I could do it and then I could paint over it if I didn't like it, but I don't know. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, what I like to do is I use painters, this blue painter's tape, And I separate all my colors so that they're easily paintable together. So like all the stars will be the same color. So I'll just put them all on one little piece here. And then what else? Well, these will be their own color. These will be yellow. And then this piece will be green. And then this I'm gonna do the red, white, and blue because it's patriotic. So it goes with the whole project. So I can't separate these though. They just kind of have a little score line here. So it shows you like where to paint to. And then let's see. This will be blue. Okay, I think that's how it's supposed to go. I should have probably checked that. Oh well. Okay. So some of those will be white. That'll be red. White. Red. Okay. So I think I'm gonna do the faux stain and just see what happens, see what it looks like. I can always go over it. So to do that, so this is MDF, so it's not like my door hangers are like an actual wood grain. This is whatever modified, I don't know what the words are for MDF, but it's really smooth and paintable, but it doesn't have that veneer on it like plywood does. So I'm gonna use a baby wipe and paint to create a faux stain. So I'll show you how I do that. Let me get my brown. And I just use scrap pieces to put my paint on. This is labels that I've printed. So I just save those and use them to put paint on instead of wasting other materials. So you'll just need a little bit of brown and then the baby wipe, and I just dip it in there and you just wipe it on. At first it'll be kind of dark and then it'll lighten up. So, let's see if you can see that. Hi Holly! I'm glad you remembered. Thanks for coming. I'm just doing the back of this little patriotic flag. I decided to do like a faux stain with the paint and baby wipe. We'll see if I like it. I don't know how it's going to turn out. I've seen a few other examples of this one painted, and nobody did this, so we'll see how it turns out. And I'm doing the whole thing because there's actually going to be, when you glue it down, there'll be some gaps in the back, so you will be able to see through it. But with this baby wipe method, it doesn't really take that much paint, which is nice. And it doesn't really have to be perfect. Okay. Plus we're kind of going for a little rustic look. I'll probably be doing some sanding and stuff, so. Okay. Okay, so we'll let that dry. And I'm gonna start painting the other pieces and we'll see if I like it when I start to put it together. If I don't, then I'll just paint over it. Hopefully I like it, because that wouldn't be very fun to have to do that. Okay, I'm just gonna set this behind me. Okay, I'll just wipe this off and then I can use it again. Hi, Ash. Okay. So I think I'm going to do an off-white, not the bright white. Whoa, making a mess. Let's see. Can you see everything okay? Okay, so these have little dashes in them. And when I first cut it and sanded it, I was like, oh, you can barely see the dashes. But I saw an idea to like go over them with a paint marker, so I might do that if they get filled in too much. But if you, I went over them a few times with the score, so it should be okay if you don't glob too much paint on them. So I use a makeup wedge to do majority of my painting. And I just dab it with this end into the paint, and then I kind of offload it a little bit so you don't have too much paint on. If you do it with a lot of paint on, then you're going to fill those dash lines in. And also a lot of times you'll get paint that kind of runs down the sides. So that's how I prevent that, is by not using too much paint. So you're better off to do just light coats and do multiple coats. So depending on how this looks after it dries, I probably will go over it at least one more time, because of course white doesn't always give a really good coverage the first time, but I am going for kind of a distressed look, so I'm not going to be too worried about it. Like I'm a little behind on my patriotic crafts, but that's okay. I can't believe how fast May went by. Almost the end of May. Crazy. And Memorial Day. What's everyone doing for Memorial Day weekend? Anything fun? We normally don't do anything. And we have an Airbnb, and usually it's booked, but this year it didn't get booked for Memorial Day weekend, which shocked the heck out of me. We could still have a last minute booking, but I don't know. I mean, with the price of gas and the economy, I'm not super shocked. But usually, I feel like usually we get like more local people. Summer's our high season, so we get a lot of, our Airbnb is at the gate, the southwest gate to Mount Rainier. Like literally, our neighborhood's right at the gate. You can see the gate when you turn into the neighborhood. So it's pretty primo location, and yeah, so usually it's booked up, and we'll see what happens. But this summer, it's a little slower, which I'm not too surprised about, like I said, but we'll see what happens. Maybe we'll get some last minute local bookings, but we might go out there this weekend. I don't know. It's hard when we have, because we have 3 dogs. So it makes it a little more challenging. Here they can just be outside all day, because we fenced our front yard last year so that they could be outside and we didn't have to like be out there with them. So yeah, so we'll see. We might go out there at least for a night or two. Otherwise, I might just be here crafting. We've always got an endless amount of yard work to do, so. And the weather's supposed to be good at least. It's finally started to get sunny this afternoon. It's been overcast here all day. Okay, so stars are gonna be white. So far, I'm doing pretty good. These dashes, I did go over them like I don't know. I scored them multiple times to make them so that they would be deep, which helps to prevent the paint getting in there. It's a little harder to fill it in. You could always, take, like I use a push pin or anything that has a sharp end, and I can just go in and clean the lines out if need be. Okay, almost done with the white, at least for the first coat. Actually covered pretty good. I just love this MDF. It's super smooth, and I sand all the pieces before I send them out, so they don't have the charring on the edges usually. Sometimes I might miss it and you just have to do a little light sanding, but especially for pieces that are white, you'll want to make sure that you clean that off. And you can, let's see, you can kind of see on this one, there's like a little bit of brown where the dashes are. And you can, well, I got these are alcohol wipes. And you can wipe them and it will clean those off. Or I just will do a real light sand with a high grit. Like the lowest I go usually is 220. But yeah, these are awesome. I saw this from someone and I got them and I love them. So that cleans that right off. And then especially with white, if you don't do that, you might get some yellowing coming through. Now with this, it probably wouldn't really matter because you're gonna distress it. Well, at least I am. So, but if you want something to stay white, you probably want to clean it off, or sand it if necessary. But like I said, I do sand everything before it goes out, so I try to get it nice and clean so it's ready for you to paint. But if you ever need to, you can just hit it with like an alcohol wipe, or probably even a baby wipe would take it off. Or you can use your little fine grit sandpaper. Okay, so I'm just hitting these one more time. This is the most of one color. Well, I guess there's a lot of red, but. So my plan is to go live every Wednesday. maybe another day of the week. We'll kind of see. I am just trying to get back into the swing of things. And then, of course, summer's coming and things get crazy during the summer. But I want to start doing lives and doing tutorials on different things so that you can get ideas on how to paint things. And yeah, I love creating, and so I hope you do too. And I'm going to continue, hopefully, to do my paint, craft and sip things locally. Which is a lot of fun. I have one coming up in June. Patriotic, summer themed. Okay, so I got a little heavy-handed there on some of these. So I'm just taking this, what do you call these, a push pen? I don't even know. And I just clean those out. Okay. All right, and then I'm going to do this really quick since I'm on the same piece of tape. I'm just going to do the centers of my, of course I moved stuff around and now I don't know where my scissors are. Oh geez, hold on. Okay, so with the makeup wedges, to save money, if you want, you can just cut the tips off after the paint dries. I mean, you can do it when it's wet too, I guess. And then you can just keep using it. So I have so many. These are all like cut down, different shapes, different sizes. And I reuse them and basically until I can't use them anymore. But sometimes you just want a fresh one. Okay. All right, that looks good. Okay, so now I'm going to do this one. I'm going to do, the color I'm using is called Nautical, but it's basically just a navy blue. And I say just use whatever paint you have, unless you like specific colors or want some more paint. These are all, well, a lot of them are things I color matched. Since I go through so much paint and I use them at paint parties, I get like house paint from Home Depot, the Bear Premium Plus or whatever it's called. But a lot of these colors were chalk paints. Chalk paint colors. I used to use basically only chalk paint. I only really got into using the Bear from Home Depot because I started doing the classes, so I needed a lot more paint. So I'm just doing this navy, and then there is score lines on this so you can see where to put your stars. which is always nice. And this one has the little dashes too. And since this is a dark color, I might go over them with white. We'll see. You don't have to. I guess it kind of looks like a stitch, is what you would say, the little dashes. Okay, so one coat on that. We'll let that dry. Move on to our red. Okay, so these are going to be red. And this is just a bright red. This is the red I use pretty much for everything. If you're hopping on, say hello. Tell me where you're watching from. We are in Buckley, Washington, which is way south of Seattle. Seattle's about an hour away. And then we're a little east of Tacoma. Tacoma's about 45 minutes for us, but we live in the woods, which I love. I always thought I wanted to live in the city. I don't know why. Oh. I was born and raised in the desert, so when we moved to the city, I just loved it so much. I thought it was so cool. And then when I got older, I couldn't wait to get the heck out. So now we live in the forest in the middle of trees. Sometimes this gets little chunks in it. Surprised I can't hear the owls tonight. We have like a pair of owls that live in our trees, and they have at least one baby. Normally they're out there making all their noises and hunting. Last night I saw them. They were way up in the tops of the trees, and they were like making these screeching noises. So of course I had to Google what does that mean? And usually it's like they called it the fledgling, which is, I'm guessing, the baby. And they make that noise when they like want food, or I think they make it said they make those noises when they're like being territorial and trying to scare off other birds or whatever. But they are always out here making all kinds of noise. Today they're being quiet. Tonight they're being quiet. They must be in a different part of the yard. They seem to really stay in our yard most of the time. I've had to face off with it. One of them, a couple, actually, well, the pair that lives here. Last year I had to face off with them because they were, well, Wilson uncovered a bunny nest. This was last April, May. And yeah, so then that brought the owls out. And they were trying to get those baby bunnies. And I was not having it. This year, I haven't seen any bunny nests, thankfully. But I also decided, you know, you have to let nature take its course, because we had bunnies everywhere last year. And Sierra likes to hunt bunnies. And they were in our yard, in our front yard, all the time. I don't know if they were living under our front deck, but yeah. So that was, you never knew what was going to happen when you opened the door and let the dog out. Thankfully that hasn't happened this year. I've seen them around, but they haven't been in the front yard. So obviously they found a new home, thankfully. I just got to keep them out of my garden, which is it's all in containers, so I don't think the bunnies can get it. More likely the deer or slugs. We got slugs everywhere. The joys of living in the Pacific Northwest and in the forest. Just gonna hit this yellow again. Okay, so this is gonna have, I'm gonna do red, white, and blue. So we'll see if I can do this without a paintbrush. Might need a paintbrush to get around these edges. So there's little score lines where the other flower starts, I guess you would say. I'm just gonna get as close to it as I can. Let's see. Oh yeah. So if you use the very edge of the makeup wedge, you can do it pretty good. As you can see, I did pretty good there without having to use a paintbrush. I tell you, I don't use a paintbrush very much anymore. Never thought I would be using makeup wedges to paint. Never used makeup wedges for makeup. I was never like never really wore foundation or anything. So, never really used makeup wedges for anything until I started painting with them. It's been years now, but I just couldn't go back. There's no way. It's so much easier. I mean, depending on what you're doing. But like this, it covers it so fast. The key is to finding a good makeup wedge. And these ones are from Amazon. But they're pretty firm. And then if I screw up and get too much paint, this is really technical here, I'll use a Q-tip and go in and clean it up. And these are like have pointed ends instead of round. All right, now I don't know if I'll be able to do that again with the color. I probably will have to use a brush. So let's see. Let's see, I moved all my stuff around. And let's see, I think I had, oh, these are just like eyeliner brushes, also from Amazon. Probably use that. Okay, so let's do as much of it as I can. And then I'll come back in and do the do around the edge there. I wish I had seen this design sooner. I would have made it one of my class designs. Okay, got in there pretty good. And I'll reuse these too. I don't like to waste if I don't have to. But sometimes I'll just use a baby wipe and wipe the paint off of them. But sometimes I forget and then the paint dries on it. I'm not very good about cleaning brushes, so that's probably why I'm better off using makeup wedges. And just so you know, if there's any comments, I'm not seeing them. I'm not ignoring you. Although there might not be. I haven't done lives on here in a long time, so we're just getting started. Okay, so I'm gonna do the other one in blue, that same navy, and I need to go over that navy again one more time. I keep feeling like it's too early to put my patriotic stuff out, but it's really not. Since since Memorial Day is this weekend. It's probably the perfect time. Okay, so what did I do this? My baby wipe. Just clean that off. I don't know, can you guys see me? I can't see me on there. I'm trying to watch it on here, but you can't see my face? Oh, maybe if you open it up. Okay, I didn't really need this here. And now the volume's on. Okay, we'll let that dry. Still have the green to do. So I'm just working all off the same little piece of scrap here. And then, there we go. That's way too much. That's okay. Okay. So this one, I'm just gonna do all the same green. And there is some areas in the middle that you'll make sure you paint those, because if you don't, then it's gonna look just like raw wood when you glue it together. So you can paint the whole thing if you want, so you don't have to worry about it. Or just make sure that you paint anywhere that might be visible once you glue it together. And this one too has the score line, so it shows you where to line those flowers up. Looks pretty good. I forgot I gotta go over this again. Has anybody used AI for work? I just started kind of dabbling with using AI to help me with some things for my little business here, and it's just blowing my mind. Literally blows my mind. Scares me a little, just a little. I only use it for pretty much business, but just like, it can do so many things. It's crazy, it's scary, it's so scary. But you know what? If it can help me with my business, then that's free or cheaper than a business coach. I got one of those though. She's wonderful. It's actually how I got introduced to the AI. Got me to actually start exploring it. But boy, it's cool. So I've been spending a lot of time on the computer lately. It feels good to get back to painting. Normally I hate the computer work. Okay, I think we might have all our pieces painted. I'm gonna hit this green again. And then I will just probably distress a little bit, do a little sanding on the edges. Okay. Letting these things dry. I don't know if you can hear that, but Kevin's watching something that's got some music bumping up there. Of course, he's right above where I'm at. He told me, oh, I'm available to watch TV early tonight because the Mariners played early, so he didn't need to watch baseball and scream at the TV. But I was like, I have plans. Okay, so let's see. I think, get this, looks like I missed a little bit there. Okay, so this is I think they call it a finger sander. You can find them at any Home Depot, Lowe's. You can probably get it at like Walmart. I got some on Amazon. And then I used the 220 grit. There is heavier grit, like that's coarser, or you can even go finer. I think I have some in the like 300s, but I usually stick to the 220. So I'm just gonna go around the edges and sand. Distress this a little bit. And you're just bringing that raw wood color back to pop through. And you can do as much or as little as you like. It's kind of personal preference. I tend to just lightly distress. find my little brush. Clean that off. Kind of got some of that in the little cracks. Okay, so this one. And you don't have to do this at all, you can skip it. You can go around the edges with distress ink or a distress crayon. I like to do that sometimes with like a darker color, like red. I would probably do black. I'm not going to do that today, so I'll have to show that in another video. But there's so many options to make your crafts your own. That's the best part. I always love, that's my favorite part of doing paint parties, is seeing how everybody paints differently. Sometimes you have the people who come in and they're like, I want to do it exactly how you did it, which is totally fine. And I mean, nothing ever turns out exactly the same again. But I'm always so excited to see somebody who thinks outside the box and does like a different color I never would have thought of or something. It really fuels my creativity to see other people's ideas like that. This isn't rocking the table too much. Okay. And this paint dries so quick, so I love that. This is already ready. And then I just kind of go around some of these places you can't get into easily. I just kind of hit it where I can, and that's interesting. So this is a distressed piece, so it doesn't have to be perfect. Let's see, let this dry. That's dry. Another thing you can do if you really like it distressed is to take the sandpaper and just lightly drag it along, and that'll give it like a kind of a streaked look, more distressed look. I'm gonna leave mine solid. So I'm just distressing the edges. Oh, and then we got these little guys. I'm making a mess. I don't know where my little vacuum is. Okay, so just do lightly on the edges of these. so excited to see what this looks like all put together. And I haven't put this in my shop yet, but I will take a picture of it and get it listed probably tomorrow morning. So right now I am working out of my Etsy shop for blanks. And I should probably, I don't know if I have that on my Facebook page or not. But I will post the link so that you can know where to find this if you want to paint it at home. There's lots of time left before 4th of July, and Patriotic's good really all year in my opinion. So I'll make sure to link it so you guys know where to find this, and then if you want to watch the tutorial again or have any questions, you can always ask me. But eventually, right now I'm working on beefing up my Etsy shop, and then I will be working on my website again. It's just always under construction. Like I said, I'd rather be painting than doing the techie type stuff, but needs to be done. But I heard about a cool way to get my shop together faster, so I'm gonna do that. So hopefully you'll be able to buy. But if you are local, you can just put in the code local and do porch pickup, so you don't have to pay for shipping, because shipping is crazy. Of course, the price of shipping, they raised the rates, I think in April, because the price of gas is up. We'll see if they ever lower it though. Probably not. I just don't think so. They raise the rates every year, so. Okay, so I'm just gonna go around the edges of this flower. Real quick, and then we can start gluing stuff together. Well, I'll put it on the background and we'll see if it looks good. So yeah, I'm gonna try to go live every Wednesday. That's my plan. Like I said, we do have an Airbnb, and I am the cleaner of the B&B. So but I'm always home before the evening, so shouldn't interrupt evening time paints. And I might be throwing in another day, but I'll probably do like a midday paint, just to give a little variety. Okay, let's see what we think of the background. So I did the baby wipe faux stain. Let me get this out of here before I ruin something by getting paint on it. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of line things up on here and see what we think here. I kind of wish this had lines on the back to help line things up, but it doesn't. So we're just gonna have to eyeball it a little. Okay, white. And red to finish her off. So cute already. Okay, and then, so this is gonna go like over here. And these will go on it. Oh, I forgot the green. I knew something wasn't right. Okay, that makes it look better. That's better. Makes it stand out more. Okay. I think I like the stained. I do think I'm going to distress it. Okay, so let's get this off of here. So I'm just going to go around the edges and give it a little distressing. Doesn't have to be perfect. It gives it a little more dimension. This would also look cool if you came in with a darker color and did darker edges maybe. But I'm gonna stick with this. I did cut, this is a 16-inch and then I cut a 14-inch, so maybe I'll paint another one and we can see kind of a different way to do it. More options. Okay. I'm just going to glue these together with my favorite glue. This is Art Glitter Glue. I get it on Amazon and it's awesome. Dries clear, permanent, water-based, non-toxic. Dries fast but gives you just enough time that you can still move things around, or if something slides, which we've probably all had happen, I know I have, I'll put glue down. If you put too much glue, then your piece might slide around. So you really don't need that much glue. I don't know if you could really see, I didn't put very much glue down there. And you just, there's the score lines on there, so it shows you where to line up your centers. And there you go. And then I'm just gonna put a little glue on here. I usually just like to go around edges. Like I said, you don't need a ton of glue, which is nice. Makes this last longer. You could always just use wood glue. And I used to use Stick Fast all the time. But since I've found this, I've started pretty much only using that unless I really needed something to stick fast, because that's what it is. Hence the name. But God, it's expensive now. I was looking for it the other day. Looks like that. I get that on Amazon, but it was like, I don't know. It was like $12, $15 for this bottle, which I think is crazy. Not that this is cheap either, but at least with this I have a little bit of time to move things around. Okay. So these stars are all different sizes on each side, so you really have to figure out where they... Oh, well, first time I got it right. If you don't do it right, then you'll see the score lines underneath. And maybe you don't care, I don't know. But you might just have to turn it a few times to get it lined up right. Whoop. Okay, I'm just gonna try to speed this up. Put glue on each one. Let's see, I think it goes that way. All right. Let's see. Nope. It's like a puzzle. And usually you can see the score line still, even though you painted over it. Where that one's not right. Come on. Oh, there we go. And if you get too much glue on it and it squirts out from underneath, I just take a Q-tip and clean it up. Or we could use a baby wipe. So it's easy cleanup. And then it does dry like a matte clear, so you can't really see, but you could always paint over it if you needed to. So there's that. Okay, here's the tricky part. Okay, so I might need to stand up for this so I can see it better. Okay, so there's no lines on this back piece to show you exactly where to put it, so I would suggest kind of lining your pieces up first. And there's plenty of room there, so you can give each piece like a little bit of a gap. You know what I mean? Just like there's a little bit of a gap between each piece here. And then you'll just want to obviously keep your these reds lined up with the blue, because then that'll make this piece straight. At least hopefully it'll be straight. Okay. So I think I have it where I want it. So I'm gonna start by gluing this piece. I'm gonna pull that up. I'm gonna leave those down, so that helps me keep it lined up. Slap a little glue on it. And then I'm just gonna drop it back on there so you can see that. And then, like I said, this glue gives you a little wiggle room so you can still move it around. But if you don't use a ton of glue, it will dry fairly fast. And then you won't be able to move it. Okay, I think that looks good. So now I'm going to start gluing these red and white pieces. And I'm just eyeballing it. I'm eyeballing that gap. Not a huge deal. Even though my perfectionist side wants to make all the lines and the gaps the same. That's not gonna happen. So I'm gonna do the red. I'm gonna line these reds up so that they're even with the blue, and then I'll drop that white in the middle of those. I think that's probably the easiest way to do that. Okay. So that gives just a little bit of a gap on each side. Okay. Hopefully I don't pick it up later and it's all crooked. Okay, so we can do this. I love this. This is so cute. You might just have to do my patriotic display tomorrow. All right. Cute, cute, cute. Honestly, if you didn't like the flowers, this is pretty cute just on its own. I love that. Okay, so now we just have to glue the flowers. I think before I do that, I will do the back. So this is like a little kickstand, and you can use it or not. Some people like to paint these, but I don't really. I usually just leave it raw because it's the back. Nobody's really gonna see it. Let's see this. See, this is already pretty much dry. So I'm gonna flip it over. And I just try, let's see, one. So this one, there is a even number here. This has like this is pretty much the middle here. So the way this goes together, let's see, how do I want to do this? Typically I line things up at the very edge of a project. I guess we'll just do that. So I kind of got it centered here, and then this piece, you're gonna glue this down. So you're just kind of getting an idea of where it needs to be with this guy. So I can move that out of the way. And we will let that sit on there. Try to make sure it's straight. And then there's two little pieces like this, and they'll be going on, one on each side. My dogs are going crazy. You probably can't hear that, but they are chasing each other. So I usually put a little glue down in the slot here. And then you can put one in. And then you're gonna have to put this in there. So it looks like that. And you're just gonna slide her in. Hopefully you can see this well. And then take this one and you put it over that part that's sticking out there. And then put it in the slot. And then you let it dry. So this you'll still have, it'll have a lot of wiggle room, but it won't come out of there. So you can use this or you can not use it, obviously. You could also even put like a piece of rope on it. You could put like rope from each end if you wanted to hang it. But I want to put it on my shelf, so I am going to do it like this. And I will include these in your kit with your blank. Okay, so that's gonna dry. So while that does that, we can glue our flowers on and then let everything dry. And I got something on my star. What the heck is that? Oh no. Something stuck to that. Hopefully those are still straight. Okay, so for this part, I'm just gonna put a little glue on the back. Go along the edges. And I'll squiggle in the middle. And then I'll just plop this down. Oh. So you got a little glue squirting out the side there. So just clean it up with the Q-tip. But you probably won't even see that once it dries. All right, this is so cute. I think I'm just gonna leave it. I'm not gonna go around with the white. It might be hard to tell in the video, but those score lines really stand out. So you can see in person, but you could go along with along that if you wanted to make it look more like stitches and do like white or black. It would be really cute. Let's see, I think this is dried. And now you have your kickstand, so you can pop it on a shelf. So cute. Okay, well that's it. I will get pictures tomorrow, get it listed, and if you have any questions, just send me a message or comment on the video. And if you're watching on the replay, just comment replay. Tell us where you're watching from. I'd love to know still. And yeah, if you have any questions, reach out. I will link this tomorrow with my Etsy shop so you can make your own. I'm gonna offer probably the two sizes, the 14 and the 16. This is the 16, so it's a little bigger. I don't know if you can really tell that from the video. The 14 one is a little, obviously 2 inches smaller. So it just depends on where you want to put it. But I would love to see if you guys paint this, how you do it. All right. So thanks for watching, and there is going to be more where this is coming from. Once a week, at least once a week, I'll be live for sure. My plan right now is Wednesdays. I'll probably keep doing the 6:30. Yeah, I don't know what the best time is. Everybody works different schedules, and I figured evenings probably the best, but who knows? I work from home, so I can watch videos whenever I want, and I don't know. A lot of people work from home these days, but if you have any questions, just shoot me a message, and I hope that you will make your very own. All right, we'll see you guys later.